Good afternoon, everybody. I am Myles Sergé, and this is.
MS Live.
Go ahead. What are we? What are we on?
We are on MS Live with D-KNOX, and Myles Sergé, and myself. Sometimes we got to switch it up.
Yeah, we trying to be a little different,
Mm-hmm.
So, what's been going on, man? What's good with you?
Oh man, I was like doing some volunteering work at the summer camp for children. My friend, he does like music, does a music program. So I went a few times to help him out during the day just to practice what it would be like teaching Ableton kids. And yeah, still working on my live PA, and I was mixing with Tractor using the control vinyl to
Okay,
make sure I don't lose the whole vinyl thing. It's
gotcha.
still fun. Mainly that, man. What about yourself?
Um, Went to a funeral. My cousin passed away last week. The funeral was yesterday, so I went to do that, and then actually M came through. Uh, Josh retrieved my other cousins from Mississippi. We're here, so we all went up to Top Golf, and I kind of celebrated my birthday at Top Golf.
Yeah, yeah. I
So
was wondering, yeah, because I sent you a birthday thing on Facebook. But yeah, it's sad for I remember you were telling me about your cousin last week.
yeah. So, but it was cool, man. You know what I mean? Sad to see, but it's
Yeah.
life. It's what happens. But
It's sad, it's sad for us, but for them, it's like they're changing to the next level
yeah, yeah,
because nobody wants to. It seems like nobody wants to come back.
right.
I was kind of told by someone that did cross over and came back. It said it's like getting off of work,
Hmm.
and you don't feel like it's like Friday. You off of work. You don't want to. You really don't want to go back. That's what they
Back.
say. Yeah.
Yeah. I
It's
mean,
like going.
and it was sad moment, but at the same time, man, like just seeing like some of the highlights and joys that they had, the family had with him and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And the only sad part that sucks that unfortunately, something I'm going to try to change with either friends and family is that um, we don't, especially family. You usually see that you don't get together until something happens,
Yeah.
and
Yeah. That's true.
it sucks. You know what I mean? It shouldn't be like that. And I know everybody got their own lives and stuff going on, but I mean, just to say hello, because like I did learn, like you never know that could be the last time I can talk to this person.
Yeah, yes,
And
true. They say, like
true,
they say, every day there's a last day with
yeah.
somebody. You just don't know when. You
When, you know
know.
what I mean? So that's the one thing. So that's my pledge from now on to family, especially friends, man. I got friends that I haven't talked to in a while. And, like I said, some of that's me or it's both ways. But I mean, I think that's something that I'm going to like kind of set my mind and like, try to change that. You know what I'm saying? So,
Well, it's not all our fault, not all your fault, because it seems like I don't want to say the elites, but I will say that there's a system to keep you so busy and occupied, you get caught up in your own little life, and then you just start losing connections.
right,
You got to go to work, you're busy with that, and then you don't have much time. The little time you do have, you're not thinking.
right.
It's out of sight, out of mind. But as you said, it's even creating a group on like a family group on Facebook or WhatsApp, because as much as they give us these social things to use, we can still use it for our advantage. Now, my little sister, she created some group on WhatsApp for my brothers and her, but no one actually does anything there.
Right.
Like I wrote something a couple months back, like is anybody using this? Still nothing.
No.
So, you know,
And it's crazy, but that's why we're here. That's why we're here in this live. This is our group for everybody to we can share, meet different people, have
right.
great guests, and kind of interact with each other. If you look at it that, I mean, that's a good way to like a good platform, I think. So, speaking of that,
Exactly.
welcome to MS Live. If you like what you're seeing, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Donnell always points down. I'm going to start going this way. I like the effect. It's kind of cool. But yeah, like, share, subscribe to the channel. We are almost at 500, which is great. That was our goal, our first goal. We're almost there. I think we're like maybe 4 people off. So you want to help us push that, hey, hit that subscribe button and also hit the bell next to the button, so you can know when we're doing stuff and you get notifications and stuff. So, and like I always said, if you don't like seeing us on TV, video screens, your phone, because you think we're just not attractive or ugly or whatever the hell, we're also available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and Amazon Music. So you can always catch all the episodes. They're all there as we go. They're always there. So go check us out there. Yeah. And you can also follow us on Instagram at MS Live. There's a site for the page, a page for the site. Instagram, MS Live with D-KNOX. We're there. Check us out. That being said, we got an excellent guest today. I've been seeing this lady for a while. Sadly to say, I've never seen her play. So that's my fault. Please forgive me. I know you can see me. But she has a history, and I'm very interested to know her history, and that's why we have her here today. Yeah, without further ado, everybody bring it to the stage. Miss Laura Lindoff, aka Laura Hardgroove. Let's give her a round of applause, people.
Love it. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for agreeing to do this.
Yeah.
I'm loving it.
Who the hell is these people? I don't know them, you know what I mean? But they're good. So how are you today, Laura?
What was that?
How are you today?
Oh, I'm doing great. My condolences on the loss of your cousin.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
I started the day at church.
Okay.
And it's kind of what you were talking about, and just getting too sidetracked with everyday life and not knowing what's truly important. That was kind of the message, and losing loved ones and yet still surviving through faith. And, through these bad things that happen and through struggles, we can sometimes grow closer in faith. So yeah, it was interesting the way you described the loss of your cousin. Again, I'm sorry.
Yeah, thank you.
But yeah, we need to begin to understand what is truly important in this life. And it is about being around the ones we love and supporting them and nurturing them, because we know bad things are going to happen and they need to know that they can rely on us. Yeah.
That's true.
Mm-hmm. Not to get all deep, obviously.
That's the reason, I think we're here, because music is one thing, but it's also good to know about people. You know what I'm saying? So, and I think, in my opinion, I think we kind of try to bridge the gap in that. So, maybe not. I don't know. We're trying. So,
no, I think you're doing it, because music is really much a part of having a strategy of dealing with uncomfortable, painful things in life. Like, a lot of people have depended on music in order to get through. For some people, their musical family is their chosen family because they cannot rely on their biological family.
That's true.
So yeah, I think it's absolutely true. It bridges the gap with how we take in music as part of our lives.
Yeah, I think so too. So today's episode, I don't know if you've been watching any of these shows, if you've been following us or not, we tend to try to name each episode. And today, episode 15, Ellavashun.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, right? You see how it's fitting?
Yes. That is the name of one of the tracks that I produced for PH Times with Swire Records.
Yeah.
Ellavashun. Yep, absolutely.
So, yeah. So, speaking of that, my first question for you today, since like I said, I've been seeing you for the name a long time. You know what I mean? And
really? I recently came back to all of this because I took a very long hiatus.
Right.
So I really didn't start. I took from 2008 to 2017. I really was not active in anything just because I was so busy with family and career. But back in 2017, Mike Huckabee came by to Atlanta, and I hadn't seen him in a really long time. And he's like, well, you're here in Atlanta. why aren't you doing anything?
Right.
And I'm like, well, Mike, I've been really busy. He's like, well, so have I.
Yeah.
I'm like, you know what? You kind of have a point. If I'm kind of freed up with my time, I should be able to delve back into it a little bit. But yeah, he's always been encouraging like that when I kind of feel like, oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's just special because we have a relationship with Mike too, and at the same time, Mike don't say nothing to nobody. So
Right.
the fact that he's actually talking to you, that
Right.
so yeah. So my question to you today is like, to try to get your background, like, how did you really start getting into like electronic music?
So I moved from Cleveland, Ohio to Toledo in 1989 to attend the University of Toledo. And my degree was going to be in psychology, and I didn't know a lot of people in Toledo. And honestly, one of the first people that I met in Toledo was Derek Thompson, who is head honcho at Soiree Records, and he's a DJ. But I also noticed at that time there was a lot of really cool stuff happening in Detroit and not as much cool stuff happening in Toledo. So I started to go up to Detroit a little bit. But yeah, as I was going up to Detroit more and more, I was gaining more friends and more people, even in Toledo, that were really attracted to what was going on in Detroit with the birth of techno, and they already had a great like underground electronic music scene. So that's really what got me into it. Just again, knowing that it was something, you kind of knew that something important was happening just because of the energy that it was giving off and the people that it was attracting. It was attracting a very kind of different type of people, like people that may not have totally fit into the mainstream. And it was diverse. And I kind of, that's what I liked about living in Cleveland too. I hung out in this cool place called Coventry Village, which was Cleveland Heights, and where we were all very musical, all kind of weird. And I couldn't find that weird group of people until I went to Detroit. So that's really what got me into it. And watching Derek play, and then going up to Detroit and watching other people play, and just taking in the parties like I did, take in some of those warehouse parties in the 90s. So yeah, that's what brought me into it.
Cool.
Cleveland. Huh.
Isn't
that's Cleveland? Yes. Also, Dan Curtin is also from Cleveland.
That's what I was going to say.
Yes. So we talk. We have figured out that we have been in the same places in Cleveland, but we never actually knew each other when we were living in Cleveland.
Wow.
Because like I said, I moved to Toledo in 1989. So that was, I think he was just getting started in Cleveland doing his electronic thing. But Kent State always had these really cool underground parties. Back in the 80s, they were doing punk parties. I know that Dan was part of all of that too. So we were taking in, again, the same weird kids that were taking in the different kind of music, whether you call it alternative or post-punk or progressive. I think that those kids kind of had a different ear and appreciation for the music that was coming out in the 80s. So, yeah. Dan is so cool, so talented. I've never actually met him in real life. I know that he played here recently in Atlanta, and I was out of town. So I'm like, oh man, I'm so sad that I'm not going to be able to take it in. But all my friends here in Atlanta said that it was phenomenal and that he's such a nice man. And of course. Yeah.
That's wild that you guys never like ran into each other.
I know. Well, Cleveland's big,
Even now, that's crazy. Yeah.
What about you? So what drew both of you into electronic music?
I'll let Donnell go first.
Long story short, when I was a kiddo, Mom had me spending like half my summers in Detroit and half in Chicago, various family members, because she probably was just tired of me after the school year. So because of that, I was already hearing the Wizard on the radio and all the Chicago dudes on the radio, and I was making like recording tapes on the radio and bringing them back to Kalamazoo and selling them to people in school. And then I was big into hip hop. I actually was gonna do like a hip hop record deal with one of my friends that was a local rapper in Kalamazoo. But I was also into house music and techno. It was always around me in Kalamazoo because of Jay. Jay Denham was my cousin.
Yes.
Yeah, and he was sometimes would give me mixes of his, but I wasn't going that direction. I was going more hip hop. Then one day I had to take Jay up to Detroit, and he needed to have a meeting with Derek, so we went to his loft. When I saw Derek, how he had all the keyboards and everything spread around on the floor, and I was just hearing the music, I said, okay, I don't want to do hip hop no more. I just want to go full on techno because I see, in hip hop, I'm doing more samples, but with this techno, it seemed like it's going to be more me, involved. And then from that point, I just started just producing more, like going to pawn shops, buying gear, like used gear. And then sometimes I would borrow equipment from my local comrades in Kalamazoo, like Fanon Flowers or Brett or Chance or Jay and myself. We would be swapping gear and making tracks. And back then I wasn't really putting anything out, just mainly recording, saving and stacking it up on real tapes. And then later some of those recordings came out. But that's pretty much what got me into it. Is I think I would have to say the earlier days going to Detroit and Chicago, and then fast forward in the tape to, in high school, getting a bit more involved in it with DJing and everything. And then the final straw was going up to Detroit with Jay, seeing Derek doing this thing in his loft. And from there, that was just it. I was just sold on techno. That's my like the short version of the long story.
Yeah.
So cool.
Yeah. For me, it was my next door. Well, the house I'm in right now used to be my grandmother's house. So I used to come in Flint every summer, like up until I was like before high school. So my next door neighbor, at the time, I think I was like 12, 11, something like that. But the next door neighbor, he was older and he was going to U of M. So every weekend he would come back and he would have tapes of the Wizard. And this is around like when breakdancing and stuff was really first starting to kick off. So whatever date that was, year that was, it was that. So I do know it was like when Run DMC first came out. So it was around that time. And he would bring back tapes of at the time I thought it was like, hey, it's like breakdancing music and everybody was trying to breakdance. So that's how I got introduced to electronic music from, basically. And one day he was playing some more stuff I never heard, and I kept hearing this Wizard thing and da. And I was like, "What's this?" He's like, "Oh, it's the Wizard." I'm like, "Okay, so what radio station or something?" He's like, "Yeah, it's on the radio. He does mixes every weekend or something." So he would bring back the music, and I was like, "Well, what kind of music is it?" He's like, "Oh, it's techno." So I was like, "Oh, okay." So I was born in Flint. I grew up in Grand Rapids, so I spent most of my life in Grand Rapids. So he would give me tapes, and I would take the tapes back to Grand Rapids, playing for my friends. And they're like, "What the hell is this?" You know what I mean? So big disconnect, but I would always come back here. And then he started buying records, and he had records and stuff. And that's when I first started seeing like an actual record and seeing this stuff happen. So that's basically a brief introduction to me. It was like basically that. And then in middle school, I started to DJ. And at the time, it was like R&B and then like hip hop. And I wanted that music that he had. And so that's how I basically started getting into electronic music. So to the next door neighbor. So yeah, that's it. That's my introduction. Short. I mean, it's more to it, but just off the top, that's pretty much mine. But I think everything that type of introduction, especially people in our age range, I think it's like a similar thing. You heard it usually from the radio, and 9 times out of 10, it's like from Wizard tapes or like, you know, Jeff Mills. People don't know it was a Wizard back in the day, and it basically came from him. So, yeah.
Right. So back to Toledo, my production partner, Todd Perrin, would have those cassettes with the Wizard. And I forgot to mention that because I'm pretty sure the airwaves reached down to Toledo. Pretty sure.
You're right.
And then people would be recording.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, absolutely huge influence when you are able to transmit on the radio.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
That's very true. So I'm surprised nobody has done like a documentary. I mean, it might have been done, but a documentary on him, but not as Jeff Mills as the Wizard.
Yeah.
Just to see like go around interviewing people like, hey, how did you, especially people from Detroit, like how did you find electronic music? And I guarantee 90% of the people are going to go back and say, oh, it's because of the Wizard.
Yeah.
You know, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So back to my beginnings. I didn't actually get into DJing or production until much later.
Okay.
So after several years of taking in, watching people DJ and taking in parties, warehouse parties, small parties, different kinds of parties, I kind of decided I'd like to get into this. And so I reached out to Todd Perrin and Derek Thompson. I actually was producing before I was DJing.
Okay.
Because I played the piano. So growing up in Cleveland, my next door neighbor was my piano teacher. So I had piano lessons every week. And I also played the clarinet. And I was also in dance. And I also was a thespian in all the musicals and plays in high school and middle school and elementary school. So I was like, okay, this is something that I like to do. I like to get up in front of people, not to show off so much, but I guess it is kind of showing off a little bit, but like having some kind of giving the room some kind of direction in terms of the dance floor. And I always thought that is such a powerful place to be when you watch people and, you know, just that. Everyone's in awe, especially back in the 90s of whoever was DJing. So, I didn't start DJing first. I started producing first because Todd's like, hey, I'd like to do some stuff. You know your way around the keyboard. Come on. And it was the same thing. Like Mike Huckabee was not playing the piano at the time that I met him. And he was always very much in awe of anyone who played the keyboards. And he would have me come over and I'd play around on the synthesizer and he'd be like, can you play that again? I'm like, Mike, I just played like for 5 minutes. I don't know what part you want me to play over. But I always loved that about him. And he eventually learned how to play. I think he taught himself or something. But yeah, I think that, and that's not necessarily true that if you know your way around a keyboard that you're going to know how to produce, but it does gives you some understanding of how the music is broken down and how things fit together. And I liked the idea of being a part of the direction that dance floor went. I love that aspect of it.
That's good. That's, we have a similar kind of background because when I was in junior high, Mom put me in a band, like the band class, and I had it from 7th to 9th grade. And I remember in the 9th grade being the lead snare drummer. And I didn't want to because that was like a huge responsibility because you had to, start the cadences. And if you messed up as a drummer, everybody would know because it was the loudest, So when you're saying clarinet, I remember the clarinet section was in front of us, and then the flutes were over here and the tubas and the bassoon. But I had a very nice teacher, Mr. Adams. Just thinking about that, like from band class. And then I was also playing football. So it was weird because I had to perform on the drum, but then quickly change to get into football clothes to go play on the game on the same nights. But I understand what you mean by being in front of people during band, kind of like prepares you for that
It
too,
does.
like in musically. And then as you were saying about the piano, which is good because you learn skills naturally. It's just funny that I learned those skills a long time ago, but when I started making techno, I automatically was playing like by ear, but I didn't say, okay, this is a Phrygian scale or this is a major or minor. I wasn't even thinking about that, but not realizing that I actually learned that and a long time ago when I was playing piano and drums like you. So similar background when I was hearing what you were saying. It was interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
What about you, Myles? What instrument did you play?
Nothing.
You didn't have to.
No.
Like you said, if you're cool and you have cool friends, you don't have to.
No.
You don't have to know your way around a keyboard.
I had this guy that's in the screen with us who actually I learned, like I learned a lot from Donnell as far as making music. So he used to come to Grand Rapids and we used to hang out. The same thing, like in my mom's living room. He used to bring keyboards and just to be shit everywhere. So,
wires and cables.
Wires and cables was like, yo, what's up with my living room? You know what I mean? So, but it was cool though. It's just, to learn. So he taught me a lot, and like I'm not musically trained in anything. So,
like I said, you don't have to be.
You don't have to be at all.
No. Sometimes it's intrinsic.
Yep.
And if you take it in different ways, dancing to it, listening to it, then it just kind of embeds itself anyway. So.
Yeah, that is very true.
I think, Myles, we even had those stolen crates from like 7-Eleven.
Oh yeah. Oh, we stole crates.
Those milk crates.
Everybody did
Stack them up.
Everybody, if you like, they came in handy. Like I could put my records in there. I could take my records in there. Hey, I don't have a stand for my turntables. Oh, let me get some milk crates. I can make one. You know what I mean? That's the pocket knife for a DJ is a milk crate or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
You make do with what you have, right? That is the Detroit way.
Exactly. And you had to get the big crate, not the little small one. The big
yeah.
Man, I haven't thought about that. I haven't seen the milk crate, to be honest, but I had them. I had a ton of them.
Remember, like, even if you had some gigs to play, sometimes you were taking 2 or 3 of those things full of records.
Yes.
Into the club. And I'm just thinking, wow, we were doing that.
Yeah.
Carrying them around until I got the big crate, like, for traveling on the plane and all that. And that stuff was heavy.
Mm-hmm.
That and your luggage, man, just, whew. And sometimes you didn't even play all the records.
I'm gonna bring back the milk crate. I haven't played like a pure vinyl set in a while, but I might do that. I might just show with a milk crate.
Yeah,
just to see, wheels on it.
That is a workout, genuinely, and you're going to feel it for a few days after you're hauling this.
Yeah, sure.
Because we did the Todd Barron used to do the same thing. I don't know if I think Derek had like a really nice case. It's those metallic rolling jobs. But yeah, it's one of the things now where as much as I love to play vinyl, it just does not make sense, especially if I have to travel with it. What I have been doing is kind of a hybrid set of CDJ, bring my USB, and then bringing in select records that I know I can't download. And that kind of keeps everything, compact, lighter. But I do miss the days of having all that vinyl at hand, but really it just does not make sense anymore. It just doesn't.
No, it doesn't.
Well, I can say try the time code vinyl with Tractor, because it's the same feel. It feels like it's vinyl, but you got access to all of your like your old records. You can record them straight into the program, and it records just perfect too, and it's loud. And so it's just like you having your that record, but it's on your little USB stick or on your computer. You know, I mean, you still need the computer, okay, but whatever.
It's
You know
not.
what I mean?
They should be paying you for this advertisement. I know. Really, I mean, I'm sold. I need to get that.
Yeah, check it out. I'm right. I was showing Myles, telling him today. That's what I was doing. I was just practicing. I just didn't want to lose the, like my vinyl touch. So that's perfect. You know, and the records stay here. I could eventually just sell those records because I recorded them all.
Right.
So I don't really need them anymore. But it's just nice to have that option because you can also use the CDJs to control Tractor too. So in case let's just say you didn't, like some tracks don't work on your USB stick. The CDJ just won't read it for whatever. But if you got a playlist and Tractor on your computer, it doesn't matter because it's going to play through Tractor, but you're still using a CDJ or a turntable or whatever.
Yeah.
Does it all.
Yeah, it does it all. And then, I mean, the only thing is, if someone doesn't want their computer in the booth for whatever reason, but that's the only drawback to somebody. But for me, it's not because I kind of like looking at the screen on the computer versus just on the CDJs. Anywho, and I can I can see more, not squinting my eyes in the dark and everything. But it's enough.
The tangible piece of vinyl, and that it does bring back memories of where I was when I picked up the vinyl, who I was talking to. And so, maybe I'm a little old fashioned. I would have a very difficult time selling my records, even if I knew that it was all there, just because of that tangible piece of it and the storyline that goes along with how that record got into my hands.
Yeah. I mean, as you can see behind me, I haven't sold them yet. And most of them are back in Kalamazoo. This is just a small amount here with me in Poland. But in my mom's basement, it's like a wall of that stuff.
Right. So since we're on this whole DJ subject, doing my research, which is something I also didn't know. Like I'm glad I did do all this stuff. So you were one of the original members of Women on Wax.
Yes,
correct.
I was, and I'm still a part of that collective. I think once you're part of the collective, it's there forever. Still keep in contact with Jennifer. I think we have something planned soon. I can't really talk about it in terms of playing, but yes, she has always been a mentor to me.
So can you tell us a little bit how that came about and some of the things you guys do, and a little bit more about, like, I also don't know, I'm assuming Jennifer might be DJ Minx. Is that correct?
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, that's Jennifer.
Okay.
Sorry.
I've never met her. I've seen her. I think she had a birthday party a couple of years ago at Spotlight. I went to that.
Oh, nice.
I don't know much about her. I know the history a little bit, but I don't know. So maybe you can fill us in on how this came about with the Women on Wax. Like, how did it surface?
Right, exactly.
Okay.
I met her. I had heard about her through Derek Thompson. He's like, there's another woman who's DJing, and she's been doing it for a while, and she just kicks ass. And I said, oh. And so there was this club in Toledo called Club 128. And we had various people from Detroit come down, like DJ Bone, Mike Huckabee came down. Well, we had her come down one time, and I opened up for her. And I'm up there probably train wrecking horribly because, when you first start vinyl, nobody's really good.
Right.
Unless you're Jeff Mills, probably. I don't know. But she came into the booth while I was playing, and she's like, are you the only woman up in the city playing? And I said, kind of. She's like, well, I'm starting this all-female, all-woman, all-femme collective called Women on Wax, and we would love to have you. And I was like, are you kidding me? It was just, I just felt so honored that, because I didn't feel like I was playing very well, but I was also very nervous because she was standing there. But it really did open up a lot of opportunities in Detroit because she's Detroit.
Right.
So I played a couple Women on Wax big parties. And that's really, I feel like, gave me a lot of great experience. And I felt like I was taken in by Detroit, which was really such an honor too. But she is just always very supportive, always like, yeah, we should feel empowered by this. You know, we're overcoming obstacles. We don't get the gigs as much as the men do. And she just always had some really good friends around too. Jerry the cat, he was she was actually doing things up in Windsor too, but I was playing up on Windsor quite often when I first started off with Women on Wax. But we've maintained the friendship over years. Barbecues at her house. That's how I met Kelly Hand.
Mm-hmm.
Just very empowering. It is very empowering to be a part of a collective. Whatever that collective focuses in on, I think it's important in order to feel that support that you wouldn't otherwise feel for whatever reason.
Right.
But yeah, I would say back in the 90s, it was pretty rough being a woman. It just was. It's not something that I was dwelling upon, but it was like, oh gosh, like, what do I have to do? I always felt like, okay, if they know that I'm a woman, they're not going to book me. So a lot of times what I would do is just put my last name on the cassette and send the cassette off. And then I would listen to my voicemail. Remember the machines, you play them, we're interested in having you.
Right.
And I'm like, I would call and they'd be like, oh, you're a woman. I'm like, yeah, I am. So yeah, it was just really nice to have that as we were going through the growing pains of more women getting involved in the industry. I don't think that I would have had, it gives you a sense of direction when you have a big city like Detroit say, yes, we want to have you as part of this. And so I felt like it gave me direction and it gave me strength. And I was able to know more people that were experiencing the same people that I looked up to, like Kelly. It was a great experience. But yes, we still talk.
Okay. So was you, Minx, and Kelly at the time?
Kelly wasn't part of it. Serena Tyler was. Let's see, Jen Cherry, Magda, who went off with Richie Houghton. And it was just basically like we would play certain places together, or Minx was trying to do some things. I remember playing in Ann Arbor at this coffee shop, which is really unusual, but it was really fun. And she was also part of Bang Tech 12. So we had that too. So I was part of those two collectives at the beginning, which was very helpful in me getting booked and being able to play.
Okay.
Really cool.
Yeah. What about you? I'm going to turn it back to you.
All right. Lead the fifth one. No.
It's not going to be all about me, doggone. I know you don't know Minx, but you have mentioned some of your mentors, as you were growing up.
I don't know Minx.
Not Minx, but who got you your first gigs?
To be honest, in Grand Rapids, it was we had Kiko, man. You ever heard of Kiko?
Oh yes.
So Kiko,
I remember him on the flyers.
Kiko's from Grand Rapids, so
okay.
He was basically throwing one of the first parties in Grand Rapids. So I got to know him through a friend, and we clicked ever since. But I think, as far as DJing wise, it was probably Kiko, and then Donnell, and then there's also a guy from Grand Rapids originally, Mark Helsler. They had a collective. I think he was going to U of M, and he had a collective called Unity. He did a few parties in Grand Rapids as well. So my first gig, I really don't know how it came about. It had to do with mostly I will say Kiko. I think maybe Kiko threw a party and he was like, yo, you want to open up or something? I'm like, yeah, okay, cool. How did it go? Probably trash, but I mean, I think everybody's first gig is bad.
Right.
Yeah, I think for that question, I think that was it. My first gig had to be some kind of connection through Kiko. But other than that, I mean, other than like my friends, uh, we didn't have in Grand Rapids, we didn't have a driving force. We didn't have a scene. There was no, nobody really doing anything. So if anything, we were going to Detroit. So most of my people that I know from Detroit come back from those days in the 90s, because I graduated in 93. So 92, 93, 94, it was us going back and forth to Detroit. So like Mike, I know Mike, excuse me, Mike and Rick was like us, me and Donnell and them going to Record Time and buying records and watching Mike and Rick look at us like, what the hell y'all doing? You know what I mean? And that's the thing. And I tell this story to so many people. We would go up there and you had to ask, you couldn't play records. You had to go ask for them to get played. Mm-hmm. So you were like, yo, can I listen to that? And they will look at you. To us, it was like they didn't want to help. It's like, okay, so he would get the record, play it, and he would play it and skip through it. And then it's usually Mike. He would just give you this look, like this dead stare look. And then you would do it. They'll listen, they'll look at you, you'll listen. And you're like, can you flip it over? And then they will look at you. And it's like this process, right? And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, is Rick. You gonna buy that? So that was the nightmare story. It was intimidating. I felt like, like damn, like even if the record was trash, you know what I mean? I better buy it because it's like, you gonna buy that?
Right.
So
right. He was very intimidating. Well, they both were, but yeah, Mike was very intimidating. And I was going up and to Record Time before I was even DJing with my boyfriend and his friends. And he would kind of watch me like, what is she doing in here? and I don't know how he found this out, but he's like, oh, I heard you played the piano. And I said, yeah, I played the piano. He's like, what kind of music do you play? And I said, well, I was trained classical. And he's like, well, I don't hear that you're playing with the symphony anytime soon. So you might want to think about doing something else for that. That's how he was. Like, he's kind of scary. And then he would deliver it. And then you're like, oh my gosh, that was so funny. What about you, Donnell? What your first gig and how'd you get it?
Other than high school or in Kalamazoo, kind of came about because of Dan Curtin. He was sending my music over to this guy named Yost in Brussels. Yost had this magazine called Surreal Sound. And basically he would always put a cassette tape of people's unreleased tracks on each magazine article. And one of the guys over there, D-Jack, with his girlfriend, they were putting on events and they actually wanted to book me because of that track that Dan had submitted. But at the same time, I had just did like a release with Patrick Pulsinger for Cheap Records, but he had this sister label called Morbid. And because of that release, the people down at the Ultra Show in Munich, which was Disco B Records and Peter Upstart's whole thing, they wanted to book me because of that record. So my kind of like really first gig was actually in Europe, and I actually took Jay with me because I wanted to bring someone along, not go by myself. And after that first gig that happened about in Europe, then I started getting more gigs in America and like all over the world. Like it seemed like it just never stopped. Like I had that gig, and then every 3 or 4 months, someone kept booking me somewhere like overseas or somewhere in America. And that went on for a number of years. So it's just weird that the first real gig was in Europe first, and then they started popping off in the States. And that had to be 94-ish, somewhere around there.
That's kind of the history of techno, though, isn't it? It's like it popped off in Europe, it seems like first, or there's more of appreciation for it overall in Europe first.
Yeah, it's just because I would have thought I would have been, gigging in America, but I remember, like you said, Laura, like the first time playing, oh, I struggled over there in Brussels because I hadn't really been mixing techno, and I remember just sweating those first 3 events, and then the one down in by the one time I got down to Germany with the Ultra Show, I was ready, but I was struggling that whole first tour because I was just riding the pitch, and I'm sure my mixes were off because when I came back, I remember Yo saying, "Oh, this time the DJ sets are much better." so, so yeah, but I had to go. So it was kind of like, where I could have got warmed up in Kalamazoo or somewhere. It was like just thrown into the deep end. Like, okay, good luck.
But but good though, you know what I mean? I think in a situation that, hey, go do it.
Yep.
And then all the pressure is like there. If you can get through that, then it's going to be easier because you didn't have the greatest fear. You know what I mean? Like, hey, I got to get through it. That's either going to make you or break you.
I tell you what, Myles, those are the longest 2 hours each night of my life. I was like, oh no, man, I couldn't even hear the, like queuing up sometimes. Oh man, what is going on? I had to cheap probably headphones, no kind of, probably was in the reds.
Yeah.
And probably the turntables themselves weren't the best, so I had no knowledge of none of those things. Just, okay, I'm just supposed to play records up here and mix. And then even the records I probably didn't know much because I just went and bought them and, okay, I had some records to play. But yeah, I was done for the second time when they brought us back. And 3 or 4 months after that, I was ready that time. I said, nope, not going to do that again.
It was ready.
That way.
Yeah, those first times are definitely the scariest. And baptism by fire experiences. One of the first times I played for Bang Tech was at the Blind Pig in Ann Arbor. And I remember Disco D opened up for me. He was young. I want to say he was like 15 years old, but I don't know if you're familiar with him. But it's just kind of a really frantic style of mixing. And it was very energetic. And I was like, man, this kid's got a lot of energy. And then I remember getting up there, and it was a bunch of other people from Bang Tech that were there to support me. And the first thing that happens is someone starts heckling. Like, does she know what she's doing? And honestly, I really didn't, but I had to pretend I'd get through it. But my friend Maurice Turner, he got up and he stood up for me. He's like, just let her go. And eventually I won him over, but yeah, those first experiences when you know that it's going to be a struggle, but you got to get through it. You do end up pretty strong at the end of it. And if you can get through that, you can get through anything.
Right.
Oh, okay.
That's definitely. Now, earlier you mentioned about when we were talking about the Women on Wax thing.
Yes.
And having that, the collective to help you, the solidarity,
yes,
that to get through that because of the obstacles women face in this industry.
Yes.
Based on that, right? What you said in your experiences, how do you think the industry is now with women, especially like for how I personally think women are being portrayed in the industry? And to me, and this is my opinion, I think that what I see personally, I see a lot of up and coming female producers and artists and DJs. It's more of a like, hey, look at me, I'm doing this sex thing. And I'm not saying everybody is doing it, but I always
most of them are.
I wanted to ask this question because it's, for you to come from where you came from starting from back then till now, how do you, in your opinion, like, how do you view this? I mean, is it like, personally, I don't think it's necessary, but a lot of people think it is necessary for them to be in that sort of light in order to get ahead or something. So I just wanted to get your opinion on that, if I could.
Yeah, I think it's unfortunate that they feel that they need to be perceived as something to objectify, being sexually objectified in order to be noticed. And maybe that's the nature of how advertising is going now, especially when when everything is very social media driven and we rely on pictures and clips and giving off a certain attitude that people, that will draw people in. But I think it applies to everyone. Why are you doing it?
Mm-hmm.
Why do you want to DJ? Do you want to DJ because you want people to think you're great and to stare at you for hours on end and watch your stuff on social media? Or are you doing it because you love the music and because you want to help bring people together on the dance floor and you want to give them a great quality experience because people remember how you make them feel and that storyline of what happens when they're at the party. Mm-hmm. So all the stuff that you're doing to advertise for yourself on social media is not going to keep people coming. No.
Right.
I just think that a lot of times people are getting into it. Their why is not really substantial. Like if you're doing it because everyone has an ego, I'm not saying that. Right. I think that it's good to have an ego. But if that's the only reason you want to do this, then chances are people aren't going to be able to tap into the substance of what you're doing as a DJ. This is the facade, but what can you actually do? So yeah, I think it's unfortunate, but I think it's the nature of how things are advertised. Like women are objectified, women are, and if you want to be that way, that's cool. But you can't make that the only thing about you, or you can't make that be the thing that brings people back over and over again. Like, it's great to be, if that's who you are and you want to flaunt that, I think that's great. But that shouldn't be the only thing that you're depending on in order to do this.
Right.
Now, what are your thoughts on it? I don't know. As you've been in the business for a long time too, have you noticed it change over the course of time?
For me, I'll say when I first noticed this shift, and it was when Paris Hilton started to DJ.
Oh gosh.
And I know it sounds, and you know what I mean, but that's when I first noticed it. Because there's always been female DJs like Kelly, yourself, Mink's been around, Magda, there's other people, Gail San and all these people, but you've never seen them like that. It wasn't that this like I need to be sexy thing.
Yeah.
I need to show sexy and I need to, yeah, people dance, but when you're doing routines behind it's just got crazy. But then that's when I first seen it. And then after that, I'll say, and no, I'm not taking no disrespect to anybody or no hate. I'm not doing that. But the next time I seen it was with Nina. When Nina stepped on the scene, and I don't know her, so no disrespect if I'm not.
Yeah, I don't know her either.
But it seemed like from that, it just took it to a whole nother level. And I'm not saying that I've never really seen her in that type of, sexualized way. I know she danced and she did her thing, and I just thought that was her thing. But then from that moment, it just kind of went from there. And the next biggest thing that happened was her again when she did that photo shoot in the bathtub. Mm-hmm. And that just kind of blew everything off the lid. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying she did anything wrong or it just from that moment on, everything else has been, oh, I have to have nothing on, or I have to look super cute. I have to do this and that. And it became a show, and going to different shows. And I don't go out a lot, but I'm on the internet a lot. I see a lot of people there going to parties, and it's this. Nobody's listening to music. People's taking footage. They're live streaming, and it's nothing. And nobody. I don't dance. I mean, I dance every now and then, but I don't dance. But nobody's dancing, and they're just doing this, or it just kind of took away from everything. And I just think that what I see now, I see younger females coming up, and they want to DJ. That's great. That's cool, but they're not DJing, and they're not doing it for the music. It's socials.
Yeah. Yeah, it's and it just seems like they don't have the patience to go through the journey of the things that you have to learn before you become a household name. I think we're used to thinking, and we see it in pop stars like Madonna, like doing things for the sake of shock value so that the kids will remember you and you become a household name. Well, I think that that's kind of the mindset. They don't want to have to put any work in. They don't want to have to struggle or, but yeah, it doesn't have staying power. Like, you can become famous that way, but then what is the end result? Like,
Right.
do you have any sets that are memorable, that people that were present, there's a storyline that they're going to remember? No. Yeah.
Yeah. What about you? When did you start noticing?
Exactly when MySpace kind of died and then Facebook started getting more popular.
Hmm.
So I would say along with the social media, because it seems like it just went along with it. Because I noticed that even in hip hop too, it seems like it was just changing and becoming more bubblegumish, you know. Because it just okay, I can share this and put this. Okay, this doesn't look so good. Me just mixing records, but maybe this looks better if I, have my top down a little bit or do some goofy stuff just for attention. But that's when I'm going to say probably around 2010 and up. I just started seeing things sort of even techno itself. I remember a few years over here in Poland too. There was a point where even some parties I was playing on said this they're not really playing techno. I don't know what this stuff is. It's not even disco house. It's a completely different sound, and people were really phones, as you said, taking photos, standing there, just selfies and everything. And from that point, it just I'm not gonna say it got worse, but I'm just you know what I mean. It just became more and more. Is what you would see, just the whole social media thing. So that's when I started really taking notice
Hmm.
of it, and even from here to America, and everywhere I was traveling to, so it seems to be the same thing. So I don't want to blame Facebook or anything like that, but I will say, yeah, social media has started to be stronger than that's when I really started to see this.
Yeah. And I won't
So
and I won't like single out, I think I see it, men do it too. You know what I mean? So I'm not gonna say it's all women do this. No, I see men doing crazy stuff too. And I think and don't get me wrong, I think this whole social media stuff to me, when things changed when the whole digital age came in, you know what I mean? And I can go back when it's like people found ways to make money. And that's a part of this. I think, like when the whole when all the distros crashed, when it all started, when all distribution crashed, couldn't get nothing, and then the digital stuff popped up, and MP3s and all this and that, and then somewhere along the way, hey, we can make money with this. So, and I think when that changed, it just changed the whole industry. You know what I mean? So now, like, unfortunately now, and I hate doing it, but it's part of what I need to do. Like, to put a record out or to do something with music, you have to promote. You have to have a social page. You have to have. It just changed all the things that kind of took away from music, I think. So now I do it myself, but most people have teams. There's crews of people. They have companies that pushing on this and that. You have to be on social media. You have to push this. You have to push that. And I think it just took away with a lot of stuff. You know what I mean? And everybody's now the formula is this. So you have to be a part of that formula to get it. But everybody else is doing it, so I have to keep upping it.
mm-hmm.
And I think that just took away from everything. But
It
that's just
did.
my opinion.
Yeah, because you're basically when you're thinking about Instagram, TikTok, or Facebook, you're even thinking of, okay, I need to make some videos and me mixing some little clips or something in my studio. I chose to do that is so I don't have to do anything goofy. I could just make a little snippet of me in my studio, of a part of a song, or maybe a little bit of a mix, and then just put that up as a reel or a story or something different. So I wouldn't really, and maybe once in a while I'll talk or something.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, that's why I'm not probably having the 78,000 followers, or
Yeah,
but at
it's a
least
full-time job to be a globe-trotting DJ for sure.
Yeah.
For me, it just, I do it because I have fun doing it, and because I had some really good people pour into me. And I also have a full-time job, which I also pour into that. So I'm also a high school counselor, and I have a degree in psychology, which I had to work for, and a master's in counseling that I had to work for. And so my time is split. But what I noticed is it's with these people that have a lot of time on their hands and maybe are not living this very interactive life where you're interacting with people and you're getting material to be creative. Because I think to be creative, there has to be some pain behind it, or witnessing other people's pain. But it's this very surface facade that these artists have. It's just, there's nothing there. Mm-hmm. It's beautiful and aesthetically pleasing, but there's nothing behind it. And they want to make money off of it quickly. And so that's just the nature of it, unfortunately, because it can happen. People can make money super fast just by saying something stupid, and it goes viral, and then they're famous the next day. Yeah.
I'm not going to hate, because I think the stupidest thing, I'm not saying it's stupid, but in my opinion, the stupidest thing I've seen so far on the internet, and it just wasn't on the internet, that made a ton of money, was whoever came up with the idea of putting that damn banana peel on the wall and saying whatever they say, and it sold for like millions of dollars.
Exactly.
Yeah. I could have done that. But you know what I mean? He didn't do anything.
It's all people's perceptions.
In a photo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm kicking myself for not thinking about that. Yeah, I don't know.
But also the reason that people want to go to parties is all based on that immediate click of whatever they're seeing, however they're trying to sell the event. They're always getting some high points and making it look like this big production, and you need to be here. But then when they're there, they're on their phones and it's like they want everyone to know that they're there, more so than I want to be here with these people and I want to take this in. So it's again, very much about how you want to be perceived, because you want to identify with that very glamorous, which this music really isn't about all that. It can be, but like I said, there's some pain behind it. There should be. Yeah. So anyways, this is my take on it.
Yeah. So how did you balance the work-life thing?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's because you brought up, I want to know. You said you're a school counselor. Mm-hmm. You went to school for,
psychology. I have a degree in psychology and a master's in counseling.
Yeah, and then you're also a full-time mother.
Yes.
But yeah, I see you make it work, because I see you do the stuff. I see the music stuff, and then I see you've been out playing quite a bit. So
sometimes, I like to play out when I can. This is the thing. I think I keep myself so busy so that the time is of essence, and I've got to use the time wisely, whatever I'm doing, whether it be my job or mom or whatever. I think it's been that way since I started this music. I've just always kept myself really busy, and you have to take care of yourself. Mm-hmm. Like that's of the utmost. Like you have to take care of yourself if you're going to be that busy. And unfortunately, being a full-time, what I found when I was doing things more full-time with music, it is a very difficult lifestyle to keep up with. I mean, there are many facets of it that are difficult, but just sleep. Like I need a certain amount of sleep and it's got to be consistent and I can't be, and so I remember just jet lag or whatever, I would be taken out and would not be productive and I would not be happy. So I'm like, I need to make the most. If I'm going to do music, I need to be healthy and do music in order to enjoy it. If I'm not enjoying it, then why am I doing it?
Yeah.
So I guess number one, taking care of myself. If I'm not taking care of myself, I'm worthless in anything that I try to do as a parent or a wife or whatever. I've got to take care of myself. And that is the full-time job, really. And then you can have fun with the other stuff because I still really have fun being a high school counselor. It's trying because I have teenagers myself, but it's also extremely rewarding. It's that piece that Mike Huckabee taught me, like you pour in, if you feel a calling from God that you want to pour into the next generation and you're talented at that, you do that. That came from Mike.
Right.
He also understood that. Like he did a lot of things with the youth.
Yeah, he did.
Detroit.
Sure.
And a lot of times you don't reap the benefits of that right away, of knowing that you've touched someone's life in a positive way, or it allowed them to journey on to the next point in their life because they earned their high school diploma. Like that is the key for many people. Like, so yeah, I do it because it's worthwhile. I do all the things because I felt a calling to all the things. But first and foremost, if I'm not taking care of myself, then I can't do it. Then I'm not doing anything really well.
Yeah.
Got a comment. My digital journal, only woman DJ with
With the what?
with a degree.
Really? No. Really? That's cool.
Yeah. So do your kids at school know what you do? Do they know?
Sometimes eventually, I remember a couple of years ago, I had a new student that was coming in from Chicago, and she actually knew who I was. And I was like, oh my gosh, he was so cute. And she started asking pressing questions about the 90s and raves. And I'm like, all right, you got to go back to class. She was so cute. But no, it's usually not the kids. Usually it's parents or my coworkers.
Okay.
For example, I started a new job. And one of my coworkers like, yeah, my wife likes to kind of look at people on Facebook and on Instagram. And I feel weird asking you this, but are you also a DJ? Yeah, that's me. He's like, oh, he's like, I'm going to have to tell her. But yeah, I don't think that most people would even imagine it because a lot of times they'll be like, no way. There's no way that you are. And I'm like, yeah, I am. You stay underground by getting a job in education. That's for sure the way to stay underground for the rest of your life.
Right. Man, that's cool. They knew who you were.
Yeah, because now they can just get online and see, oh, right there, my teacher, DJ.
Yeah. Like, look at her.
Well, and then I'm asked to do the pep rallies. Like, can you do the pep rallies? And I'm like, oh gosh, that's opening up a can of worms, you know?
Have you done one?
No. I've never done a pep rally.
Well, plus they're gonna assume probably you're gonna play pop music, not just house music or techno on those.
No, they know what I play.
Yeah.
It's just, you think about it, but the kids aren't going to know what it is for the most part. My kids listen to it because they have to, because I'm practicing down the basement and they're forced to listen to it. But
okay.
They'll appreciate it later on, I think. So maybe
they don't like it.
I would say my son James probably likes it more so than the other two.
Okay.
They're like, we like it. It's just, you know. I mean, I have 3 kids. The oldest is 18, and then I have twins that are 15. So, you know, they're very impressionable and very peer-oriented. Whatever the peers are listening to, Mom is definitely not cool ever. It wouldn't matter what I was doing. I'm not going to be cool. But, yeah.
Yeah. No, I think that's cool though, man. Your
Yeah,
mom
it's cool.
DJ and everybody knows her, and she makes music and has
Yeah.
records out. Yeah.
I know next time I'm down in Atlanta, I'll have to come and visit you because I when I come home, normally I go down there every summer to stay with my aunt and my cousins and visit. But they're out in Decatur off of Wesley Chapel.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, you should. There's so much talent here in Atlanta. It's unreal.
I was going to ask you about that. That was one of my questions. Like, what's the move to Atlanta, and like, what's the current scene? I've been to Atlanta one time in my life, and I ended up going to some club, and what's his name? I want to say Kai.
Yeah, Kai, I'll say.
Yeah, I went to see him. He was playing, and coming, in my opinion, like coming from up here, Detroit, and all that stuff. I think the music was in Atlanta. To me, it was slow.
It's house.
It's house, but
and you don't get outside of house really.
it was mad slow. But then, like Dan was in Atlanta. I know what Dan plays. He plays kind of both, but I'm like, okay. But then have heard that there are actually some techno crews in Atlanta. So I haven't seen it. I haven't been back to Atlanta for just that one time ever in my life. But I wanted to ask you, like you said, you moved. Like, what was the move to Atlanta? It was like probably work related, or and just how the scene is down there. Because I know Donnell goes every time he comes back home. He's down in Atlanta, but I didn't know there was anything going on really, except like R&B and hip hop. But
yeah, well, the house scene is very big here, and I moved here, because of my husband's job in 2008. There is so much talent here; it's incredible. In any genre of music, there's going to be a lot of youth that are very talented and they're doing it. But when it comes to what runs Atlanta, it is house driven.
mm-hmm.
Now, what I've done, and another person from Detroit who does this too, Ash Lauren, she's one of the first people that I reached out to when I first started thinking about going back into music. I'm like, oh, she's from Detroit. I'm going to reach out to her. And so we've been friends. And people will say, you do this and Ash does it too, but we'll start off with house, but it will end with some techno.
Okay.
And a lot of times people won't know that that's what's happening, but that's what we're doing. It's just very difficult unless it's some really well-known track. Like an Octave One track or something. It's very difficult to incorporate techno here in Atlanta. I try. It usually works for the most part, but it's not something that people are used to. I don't think that most people are used to listening to techno. Any solid techno crews here? I don't know. It's not really the first choice.
Mm-hmm.
When I play, it's usually house. Or there's this really cool listening bar place that it's all vinyl and I get to play whatever I want.
Mm-hmm.
And it's that kind of thing, just taking in the acoustics and just a very, a listening bar experience. But I'm lucky I've gotten to play different things and I have been able to play some techno and it usually goes off, but it's not like people are used to it. We're not hearing it on a regular basis here. There are a lot of house producers here like Kai, Kemet, Ash, Stefan.
Kemet. He was, if I'm not mistaken, he was actually part of Arrested Development.
Really? I didn't know that.
That he was the DJ for Arrested Development with the Mr. Window and Tennessee and all that stuff.
Okay.
You learn something new every day.
Yeah, I think
that's incredible.
I'm right with this. Yeah. So.
Yeah, well, he's a very nice man, extremely talented. Yeah, I've been lucky. I think, did he play I was able to play Charivari a few years ago, and it was with the Atlanta stage, and it was with Kai and I think Kemet. Yeah, I mean, Atlanta's great, but yes, it's slower and it's house driven. It's very soulful. House in the Park every Labor Day weekend. That is a huge thing. A lot of people coming in from Chicago.
Okay.
but it is house.
Okay.
So
But you gotta love house music, you know. I have some people tell me, "Oh man, no, only techno." I'm like, "Nah, if you don't like house, come on, man. What are you talking about? You got like house and techno."
Yeah, I think they go hand in hand.
Yeah.
I think people don't know sometimes when they're listening to one or the other. They really don't.
True.
If you can blend it properly, they won't know.
You gotta keep sneaking it in, man. Next time we come down here, or if I ever come down here, I want to boom boom.
Yeah.
There's a time and a place. They
Right.
have some really late after parties here, and they do. It can get really weird with the genres and stuff. But yeah, it's great to play here. It's just I also have to make sure that it's at a decent time and that I can still do my job as a parent
Right.
and as a school counselor. But I always appreciate the opportunities to play here, and I have had some great experiences playing here in Atlanta.
That's cool.
Y'all need to come down.
I would love to come.
Most def. I'm gonna bring my. You know what? When I come down there to visit, I'm gonna have Myles. He had to come with me.
Yeah.
You know, like just come because my aunt's house is big, so there's plenty of space. But it's like, come on, we'll just drive down there and just stay a week or something.
Yeah. Well, I'll probably have to fly, and it probably have to be a weekend because you know my work schedule. Boom. What do we got? Mr. Lester, friend of the show.
King Les.
They know Percolator down there and Jack My Body.
Yes, absolutely.
Or I think everybody.
We love King Les.
That was one of the songs that kind of just went like it didn't matter. Like everybody knows Percolator.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was one of the first ones, even in Detroit, but like Leland, what is that? Leland City Club. They're playing that stuff, and as soon as it came out,
Yeah. That's probably like the first crossover song.
Yes. Yep.
And it went everywhere. I even heard it in a commercial.
What commercial was that?
I don't know. I remember it in a commercial.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
He's probably still making royalties. I'm sure he is.
That was huge. That was a huge song, like for real.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah. Green Velvet.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of another one that was always played, but it's a long. What did that gentleman say? Jack Your Body.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, what clubs were you going to in the parts of Michigan that you grew up in? Like, what? Because I know you weren't like close to Detroit, or were you?
No.
No. So, where were you going?
We were on the other side of the state, so we were basically going to well, for me, a lot of loft parties that were in Detroit, and then Packard Plant. There was one club. I know Richie played at some club that was in Windsor. I went there once. It was technically a teen club, but he had a night there. They would let him do stuff there, so we went over there a couple of times. But that's really it. Like I never been to like the Institute or nothing like that.
Okay.
But there was always like some pop up party somewhere. Like we would all go, and yeah, mostly
I
like
miss the flyers. Really miss the flyers. Going to Record Time, and you would go over to that corner, and all of the flyers would be set up, and you could tell how much time, and then yeah, I really miss that.
Oh yeah, back in and going to those, those illegal raves, just some building downtown somewhere, some general, both Detroit and Chicago as well. Because I know there was a time when Myles and I and Kiko and all of us was hanging, like it seemed like almost every other weekend or every weekend we were going over to Chicago for some parties, and then in Detroit the same, but mainly in Chicago. I know we went to Red Dog and Kaboom's a lot, to listen to more house stuff. And then if it was techno parties, some of Mike Dearborn stuff and Davey Dave, that dude used to book me a lot of his events, and some of them were even in high school gymnasiums back in the day, which I thought was kind of hilarious. But in Detroit, a lot of like Myles, it wasn't really in clubs. It was more just someone put on an event. We found out, okay, we're not going back to Kalamazoo. He's not going back to Grand Rapids. We're going to stay down here and drive back after the party, I guess,
Yep.
and go to some, event, which could have even been dangerous, but we didn't realize it back
Yeah,
then.
it was crazy.
Yeah.
Just going in and having fun.
One of my
You could even come out sometimes and see the drug dealers robbing kids that were high, and you knew that, okay, they're the ones putting on the events, but they didn't mess with us. They're just, messing with those kids. And those kids were, I know one time I saw that it was like a group of them. I didn't get involved, but I said, okay, what's the point? But the kids were laughing. They thought it was funny, but they were being robbed. I just thought that's so strange, to see this at 4:00 in the morning, on my way to leave. But those parties were fun because that's when I first saw like Billy Bob Parrots, on one of those events. Him cut them, I don't know, they both had on pajamas, and then he had that horse, that stick, but fucking rocking the party though.
Yeah.
That's the thing, like rocking the party. But I'm like, who is this dude with this? He looks like no, he doesn't look like the guy, but he's wearing the same pajamas as the dude from Gilligan Island. He's on like a horse. And then the other dude has got he looks like Samuel L. Jackson, Parrish,
Paris, yeah.
From Pulp Fiction, got that kind of like wig on his head or whatever. And they DJing, but they're rocking the house. I was like, this is showmanship, But those parties then, yeah, they were just something. And of course, Richie's.
Yeah.
Going to his stuff, and like seeing those kids tattoo the Plastic Man on their head. Back in the day. I remember the first time, I think this was the first time I saw Richie playing on one of his own events, doing like a live thing. And it was great, so to see all that back then, soak it up. And then you go home with some ideas from those parties for yourself, for tracks or mixes. I miss that stuff.
Yeah,
right. Because it provided substance and a storyline that you're going to remember. Yeah. What they're doing now does not provide either of those things. So they're not remembering this stuff, which is unfortunate. I hope they do. I hope they can find something to remember when they go. Yeah. Richie Houghton had a party up in Canada, and the only parking was in the middle of a soybean field. And I remember opening up the door of my car, and the soybean plants were like coming into the car. I think it was with John Ecoviva. I can't remember the whole lineup. Yeah. And also because it was in the middle of the field, they used these lights, and it looked like they were like stadium lights, and everything was brightly lit. And I'm thinking, it is too bright in here. I don't want to see all these people in the middle of the night in a soybean field. Yeah, rolling or whatever they're doing. Yeah.
It was out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, soybean field.
It was nowhere, and it was like no road, no major roads, and all these cars were just going in the dark, following each other. I was there. I had to be that one.
Yeah,
I was there. I got so many Richie stories and parties, and yeah,
Richie Rich.
Same.
That's what I call it. Richie Rich. Richie Rich.
Yeah, like my Huckabee story. We were down at one of the lofts downtown, and he was playing, and it was me and Kiko and him, and then we went to the party because he was playing, and he had just got on to play like maybe like 5 records. He got raided. The cops came in, they bust up. They came up with these huge flashlights. You know what I mean? Get the hell out. First question they asked anybody, who's the DJ? Who DJing? This and that. And he was playing, so he just kind of got away. And next thing I know, he like shoving these records in my hand, like, put them under your shirt. You know what I mean? So it was me, Kiko, and him, and we like hiding these damn records, like trying to get them out because he didn't care. He just wanted his records. And then either he had the box or the back, and I swear to God, it was like an open window. He like threw them out the window. And that was his only concern. He was like, yo, man, I got to get my records, man. And like I said, Mike don't talk. But that day he was talking. He wanted his records. You know what I mean? I'll never forget it. And we were smuggle out the records underneath our shirt to get out. You know what I mean? But it was crazy, but it was fun. But like you said, like even that, I can remember that from 20 years ago.
Exactly.
You know, I remember that. I remember going to jack. I remember doing the stuff that I did 20 years ago.
Yeah.
You know, or 20 plus years ago. I'll say that.
There were no distractions. You
True.
know, there were no
Right.
distractions. You were present.
Yeah.
You were feeling these like powerful feelings along with being a part of it. So yeah, that's the stuff that you remember. Like that's the stuff that your brain automatically holds on to when you're sleeping and you're dreaming. It's
Mhm.
like emotion and the storyline. So if people just understood that that's what people remember, I think it'll help them put something together that's worthwhile.
Yeah.
But yeah, I have lots of stories of being held up at the border. Detroit, Canada, Windsor. Oh gosh, many times with Derek Thompson. Yeah, it was bad. There were a couple times that one time we were coming back from Toronto and they took our records and I think we had to come back with money to get them out of impound. But I was thinking, gosh, that really is sucky. Like that's horrible to take our records. Just think of how much those records were worth back then.
Yeah, they knew what they were. 'Cause I see people that they go through to the airport and they come out, their records are gone. So there's people that work at these airports or whatever. They know exactly what they're getting and who you are and what they're going to steal, and you can't do anything about it. It's just gone.
Oh my gosh.
You know, I hear it all the time. Like, you know, what are you going to do? TSA took my records. Yeah, right. Okay.
Yeah.
That's
So it's crazy, man.
Yeah. But Minx had a residency up in Windsor with this little place called the Amsterdam.
Mm-hmm.
And that was fun. And then also Jerry the cat had this place called the Velvet Room. So we were going back and forth. This was probably 1997, going back and forth between Windsor all the time.
Oh.
And what was that?
No, I was just.
Oh yeah. So it was one of those things that it was bound to happen. You can only tell them so many times that I'm playing my friend's birthday party, or I was at the casino, and then so eventually, like every time that you go through there, they're gonna pull you over and they're gonna look through your car or whatever. But makes you stronger.
True that. True that. So, what do you have coming up? What's going on?
Well, I can't make any announcements yet. I'm actually supposed to call a promoter in Chattanooga as soon as I'm done with this to get the details of something that's happening in September potentially. I don't know for sure. I think it's going to happen in September. So that's what I know of. I was back in Toledo June, and that was really fun. Derek played. It was a bunch of Mike Clark played. It was just really a reunion of sorts. And that was really fun. I played at this room called the Echo Room back in the spring. That was super fun. I played for Ash Lauren back in the spring, and it was called Mother May I, because she's a new mom and she wanted to host something that was really family friendly, that you could bring your kids of all ages and everyone could just have fun and chill, listen to good music. So I did that. That was really fun. So I probably do stuff every other month or something like that. But I'll let you know. I'll keep you posted. But I'm pretty sure Chattanooga, September 6th is happening. Yeah.
That's cool. Any new productions coming?
What was that?
Any new productions coming?
Oh, I've been sitting on stuff for a long time. I just don't, I don't know what I'm waiting for. I'm waiting for something. I need to finish them up. I have someone that's been very helpful in saying they will press for me. I just haven't had a chance to finalize and do that. There's one that I just wanted to do an edit of and get it over with. I put one track out digitally and I didn't like the way that went. So I'm not doing that again.
Okay.
Although I know it's really, it's an efficient way of getting music out there. It just didn't work for me. I felt like I did not have any control over it. So that was the track Belina that I did a couple of years ago, 2 or 3 years ago. That was the only time I did anything on my own.
Okay.
So the rest of the stuff that's coming out, I want to do on my own. I really don't know about labels. I kind of want to just do it myself.
Okay.
But what about you? What do you have coming up?
I have a few things. I actually got my little board here. I got a couple of projects I got to finish up on my label. I have a release that's coming out probably September-ish, a vinyl release. Just waiting on the distro to figure out a day we're going to do it. So I'm kind of keeping it low key because I've been asked to keep it low key. But yeah, and just a couple of projects. Me and Donnell was supposed to work on something, but I just been swamped with work and the show and some other stuff. But yeah, this life that work life thing it just don't balance.
Right. It's meant to be, though. That's how I feel about it. It doesn't have to be right away. When the moment's right, it'll happen, and it'll be involving the people that should be involved, and don't force it. So if it doesn't feel like the right time, then it's not the right time.
True. D, what you got? You got some stuff coming out soon, right?
Yeah, I got some stuff lined up. Actually, like for your and I stuff, have some of my part stuff done.
See, I already.
And yeah, some gigs coming up next month in Poland in September, Oregon. Then I'm gonna be putting on some events here in Warsaw at the Yacht Club. I don't know how many times per year, but we'll be doing some like D-KNOX invite nights with them. So, you know, constantly keep some stuff going on and happening. And hopefully October-ish, I can be in the States, because I was thinking next month, but I'm not sure if that's going to happen. So it might be October, November-ish. Anyway, the flights will be cheaper.
Yeah, that's for sure.
And probably safer.
That's for sure.
It seems like something's happening every other day with these airplanes. So kind of.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I shouldn't be looking at no news. But yeah, it's not making me want to jump on a plane next month.
Right.
You know, so it's kind of threw me off was the gig, because I wasn't sure, but then the dude confirmed, and the date of it is like in the middle of August. So, and I have to be back here in September, so it wouldn't make sense for me to come to Kalamazoo at that point. But that's what's going on.
Yeah.
Other than daily meditation life. Oh, Lester.
Or not, I'm house.
We knew that, though. We know that, Lester King Les.
Yeah. I never knew that, but yeah. I'll take your word for it. You say I don't believe it, but I'll take
you say so.
So
I can definitely rock a house set too.
Yeah.
Like just as equally as I do techno.
Oh, I'm sure. I think that all of us, we probably do any genre.
Yeah.
I think that when you're from Michigan, you can do whatever and it goes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
Question to you. So is Toledo really part of Michigan or not?
It's Detroit Junior. Did you know? Basically Detroit Junior.
You guys were supposed to like defect. I thought you were going to defect to Michigan. At one point, that was a big thing that was happening.
Toledo is so bizarre in that aspect. I mean, it really is 50% Michigan, 50% Ohio. It really is.
Right.
Even just like the football games, you know, you got the Michigan against Ohio State. It was always a big deal. Like you would always have a party. Everyone was involved. There was a line down the middle of the party, and then you stayed in but it was all in fun. But yeah, honestly, I think that, I don't know, Toledo is kind of Michigan. Okay. At least it used to be. Historically, it did used to be. I don't know if you knew that.
And then we booted them out.
And I know why. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah,
I think that Toledo gets a bad rap, but I think we're scrappy. Toledo's scrappy people.
Go blue. That's all I got to say.
Whatever.
Go blue. And on that note, people, please give a round of applause to our guest today, Miss Laura Hardgroove. Has been a great interview. I think it's really good today. Thank you for joining.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah,
Yeah,
sure.
I had a great time. Thank you.
It was fun.
Mm-hmm.
So I have tell the people where they can find you. It will be in the link, but you can tell us.
Oh gosh. You mean to check out my stuff? I've got Bandcamp, I've got SoundCloud. That's where most of the stuff is, but as soon as possible, as soon as I release stuff, it'll be out on Bandcamp.
Okay, that's cool.
And then anything that I have going on, I usually will post it out on Instagram, Facebook. Resident Advisor. Yep.
Cool. And since we're going to keep you with these announcements. So if you guys like what you're seeing today, please like, share, subscribe to the channel. I go this way. So, yeah, help us push it, promote, whatever. It helps us in the long run, and we can get great guests like Laura here to come join us. So,
exactly.
Yes, that's what it does. It does. Again, excluding Miss Laura. If you don't want to see our faces, you don't have to. Go to Apple Podcasts, Spotify, I messed up. iHeartRadio and Amazon Music. You can hear everything we did today in the past interviews and episodes. They're all there. Go check us out. Boom. You can also kind of look at us, but not look at us on Instagram because the show has its own Instagram page. It's at MS Live with D-KNOX. Check us out there. And as we said before, if you hate us and want to send us hate mail, Donnell doesn't like this, you can send the hate mail. I should put his own email address and they send it to him, but hate us, love us, support us, hate us again, talk crap about us, whatever you want to do. Let us know how you feel. You can email us at mslive@dknox@gmail.com. Again, mslive@dknox@gmail.com. Depending on how severe how nasty the email might, we might have to forward those to you, Laura. we'll see. You can take care of that for us. Who knows?
All right. I know how to deal with it. I am a mental health professional. I'll help you through it.
This is what you're paid to do. You do this for a living. So you can help us out. And if by chance you want to check us out to book us for any bookings, we are available for bookings. Atlanta. Myles Sergé, me is position two bookings at gmail.com. Donnell is through Stellar Bookings, everybody. D-KNOX, email them, booking@stellarbooking.com to get a hold of him. I will remind you that Donnell is in Warsaw, Poland. So European promoters, clubs, get at this guy. The dude's dope. And when he's in America, he's also available too. So hit him up. Just do that. Yeah, for sure. And just in case, for good measure, if you don't know what you were watching today, and it disappeared. Boom. Episode 15 with Laura Hardgroove, Ellavashun. I said that right?
Yeah, you said it correctly.
All right, everybody. Until then, thank you for tuning in. We'll see you next week. Get a hold of everybody that's on this frame. Check everybody out. Especially check out Laura. She has some dope stuff. She has some great mixes on SoundCloud too. Go check them out. Support everybody here. Love you. Till next time. Peace.
Thank you.